Welcome to my first episode of Peasant Chef. My name is Alexander Boers, and we are gonna get you started on puff pastry today. Okay, a little bit about me, seeing this is my first episode. I originally come from Canada, and I moved away from Canada at the age of 18 and started working in Michelin star kitchens in both London, England, Hamburg, Germany, and finally I'm working at a 3-star Michelin restaurant here in Paris, France. So I apologize if the kitchen's a little small. I'm living in an apartment in Paris. Okay, so anymore, we're talking about food, okay? A little less about me. Let's talk about the food. So, we have puff pastry. Puff pastry, so many people think that puff pastry is so difficult to make that it's so complicated. You need 4 ingredients, you need a little bit of time, and you need to know the right method. And I'm here to show you that right method, okay? So, we're gonna first start with the ingredients. Okay, what I have here is the things that are relatively done. I have my butter block in the fridge. You're gonna be seeing that later when I'm starting to explain it. It's super important when you're talking about pastries, when you're talking about bread, when you're talking about whatever it is, very important is the measurements of what you have. So, first of all, the shining star of the event is going to be the butter. Okay, that's going to be 300 grams of butter. Then you are going to be moving, very important, we're going to be seeing that later. Next, you're going to be moving over to the flour, another shining star of this ingredient, of this recipe. It's an ingredient. And that's going to be 340 grams. Then you're going to be doing about 2 grams salt. You can always add a little bit more. I would say 2 to 3 grams salt. If you're doing cups and teaspoons, 1/4 is perfect. And then finally you have water. Water is something that you're gonna have to kind of eyeball in this, and you're gonna be seeing that later. I will be explaining it with you guys as we go. I would measure out at least 200 grams of cold water. Now, if you're not getting that cold water, little trick, throw a little bit of ice cubes in that. Easy peasy. So, next, you're gonna be moving on to mixing the flour dough. Set the butter off to the side, you're not gonna need it. Okay, so first of all, you have your mixing bowl. If you have a KitchenAid, that also works beautifully. Okay, use that sucker. Put it on a medium speed and mix the flour up. What I'm gonna have is I'm gonna have a mixing bowl. I'm gonna put my flour in, I'm gonna put my salt in, and then I'm gonna put my, I will put first half the amount of water that you have. Mix it, and if it's still looking dry and crumbly, add a little bit more. And it's supposed to be that doughy, springy texture. I would say to the measurement amount we have, I would put in 160 grams of water, see what it's looking at, maybe add another 5-10 grams more. Easy, okay? Then you want to be transferring it to a flat surface out of the mixing bowl, and you want to be mixing that just a little bit better. If you have a KitchenAid, you do not need this, okay? The KitchenAid, just mix it a good amount, take it out, check if it's good or not, maybe roll it around a little bit on a flat surface. But KitchenAids are beautiful when using in a kitchen, so if you have one, utilize it. I do not, because I'm a peasant chef, and hence the name. Two baking trays, equal lengths, okay? That's what I like to enjoy. If you're gonna do something right, you do it right. And then you wanna be putting your baking paper on top. That's when you're gonna be taking your rolling pin, right? You're gonna be taking this and you're gonna be banging it, not too hard, just so you're mixing that in a little bit, okay? What you're going to be doing by the smacking it is you're going to be smushing the butter together without trying to have really spreading it out to a long distance. That's why you're doing that. Because if you start rolling it out, it's just gonna spread over. So you break that butter up and they mulch together. Then finally, you want to be taking a pastry card, or you can use the flat edge of a knife or the dull edge of the knife, or anything really flat that you have that's workable. I wouldn't suggest using a knife. Things can slip and you can hurt yourself. But hey, it's your kitchen, your life, right? So you want to be shaping that in a nice block shape, approximately half the size of the shape you're going to be rolling the flour, because you're going to see in a minute. Okay, so once you have your, now this is going to be moving on to the next step. This next step I'm excited to explain. I really am. So you're going to be taking your flour dough that rested for about 15 minutes, 5 to 10 if you're really pushing it. And you're going to be wanting to put it on a surface with a little bit of flour, then make sure you lubricate that surface area. And you're going to be wanting to put it down, taking your rolling pin and rolling it out to a good length. I would suggest twice the size, maybe even 3 times the size, okay, of your butter block. Because what you're going to be doing is you're going to be putting a butter block in the middle of that flour dough. So you're going to be putting it in the middle of the flour dough, just like how I'm showing you guys. And you're going to then fold in the corners of the flour dough into the middle of the thing. So you're making a small little pouch. So that way, that butter doesn't spray out, okay? And it doesn't get all messy. So you create this nice little pouch where you have the butter in the middle and the flour on the outside. Don't make your flour too thin. It's not a huge issue, but it's just easier to work with, because if you make the flour too thin, when you start rolling it out, the butter's gonna start seeping through and it's gonna start making a break. You're still gonna get that flaky result, but let's do it right, huh? So, once you have that pouch, I always like refrigerating for a few minutes, okay? But you can go on ahead and just roll it out to a nice shape, and then you're gonna fold it again, just halfway. Don't fold it in half, fold it 3 times over, and then roll it out again. And then you can do that once more, and you're good to go. You can do it, I would say, up to 5 times. You can roll out that puff pastry. If you're rolling it out more than 5 times, doing that over and over again, it's moot point. You're not gonna get, I've seen so many videos that are like, oh, 1,000-layer puff pastry. No, you end up just making a dough at that point, right? So you still want that flakiness when you're making your pastries. You still want that nice flakiness. So make sure it's 3 to 4 to 5 times you're doing that process, and make sure you are refrigerating it in between. Because if the secret with puff pastry is that as you all might know, butter gets softer faster than, say, flour, right? Mixture of flour and water. So you're going to want to keep thinking that you want to keep it the same consistency so they fold perfectly on one another. It's not too complicated. Use your senses. You have great senses. Use them, okay? So you just want to put it down. If you're feeling it's getting a little bit after the first 2 rolls, okay, refrigerate it for 30 minutes. Take it out after 30 minutes and do the next 2. And then boom, you have your puff pastry. It's as simple as that. I'm telling you, as simple as that. And that's it. Enjoy. You can do so much things with it.